So we talked about this a little bit, but which nutrients break down best? Glucose is the straightforward, most macromolecule that's going to be used very quickly to go through glycolysis and create pyruvate. We can also use fats, so we can use the glycerol and fatty acids of lipids. So our triglycerides, again, remember, have a glycerol and fatty acids. The glycerol can be converted to pyruvate by entering in the glycolysis cycle. But first, it has to be converted to glucose, and then it can enter the glycolysis reaction pathway. So that's one extra step with glycerols. And then fatty acids can be used to create acetyl coenzyme A, but this also requires a process known as fatty acid oxidation. So it takes a little bit more. It's not as straightforward. Proteins can also be used, as I told you, to enter into this metabolic pathway. But the key with proteins is that, so the amino acids themselves can make pyruvate, or they can make acetyl coenzyme A, but it requires that amine group to be removed, and that takes some extra steps for the cell. That takes some extra steps for the cell as well. So we call that deamination. The amine group has to be removed. So you can see here is the amine group, and it has to be taken away. And then it can be used to enter in these pathways. So really, glucose is the most straightforward. Nothing needs to change. It can just be used for glycolysis immediately. This slide is just to give you an overview of what is going on in the cell to generate ATP. So this is the cytoplasm of a cell with this mitochondria. This big yellow blob here is the mitochondria. And so the first thing that happens in the cytoplasm is we have the glucose entering in glycolysis pathway, and you end up with 2-pyruvate. Remember, we still have the NADs that's going to shuttle some of those hydrogen ions that come off and then, or are given off. Then we also end up with a net of 2 ATP. So the pyruvate then are converted into acetyl coenzyme A, which is going to enter into acetyl coenzyme A, which is going to enter into the mitochondria. And then that can enter into the citric acid cycle. The citric acid cycle, again, is going to give us a net of 2 ATP. And all along the way, we have these NADs and FADs that are picking up these hydrogens that are being given off in all these chemical reactions. And they're going to shuttle them over here to the electron transport chain. And then inside the mitochondria membrane, the inner membrane, we've got aerobic respiration occurring, or oxidative phosphorylation. Those are interchangeable for the most part. For the purposes of this course, those terms are interchangeable. So this is aerobic respiration. So we talk about respiration, or we call it respiration because it's cellular respiration. It's very important that you all realize the difference between our respiration, like breathing in and breathing out, is different from cellular respiration. Our respiration, human respiration, is moving air for gas exchange in and out of the body. Cellular respiration is metabolism and those chemical reactions that lead to the production of ATP. So electron transport chain receives these hydrogen ions, and through the development of a concentration gradient, it can create water and 32 to 34 ATP.